If you are like many men, there is one question that has probably rawned in your mind more than once. It sounds innocent. It even sounds honest. But every time it is said out loud, it creates tension, doubt, and distance instead of confidence and connection. The question is some version of, am I big enough? Or does size matter? On the surface, it seems like a simple request for reassurance, but underneath, it is a direct invitation to compare, to judge, and to turn a moment of intimacy into an exam. Today, I want to show you why that question quietly sabotages your confidence and your connection, and what you can say instead that supports your intimate health, your well-being, and your vitality in the long term. My name is Dr. Susan Parker, and I work every day with men who want to feel calm, confident, and present in their intimate lives, especially in midlife and beyond. Men who care about their partners, who want to show up as their best selves, but who carry old fears about size, performance, and aging. If that resonates with you, I want you to stay with me until the end, because we are going to take this fear apart piece by piece and replace it with understanding, with practical tools, and with a way of speaking that actually strengthens your confidence instead of weakening it. Let's start with what really happens when you ask the size question. Imagine a moment to intimacy. There is closeness, warmth, breathing, skin, two nervous systems trying to relax and trust. In medio of that, you stop and ask, be honest, am I big enough? Or, does size matter to you? Immediately, the energy changes. Your partner is pushed out of her body and into her head. Now, she has to evaluate, choose words carefully, avoid hurting you, and at the same time, protect her own comfort. You wanted reassurance, but what you created fue una especie de examen oral, right in the middle of a moment that needed softness, presence, and playfulness. From your side, you have just confessed that you are measuring yourself against an invisible standard. You are telling your own nervous system, I might not be enough. I need external confirmation, or this moment is not safe. When your brain cree esto, it activates stress responses. The heart beats faster for the wrong reason, breathing becomes more superficial, muscles tighten, and in intimate situations, stress does not help. It reduces circulation to the very areas where you want good blood flow. It narrows your focus and feeds a negative loop. Worry, tension, less enjoyment, more worry. The question about size is like throwing fuel on that loop. The first thing I want you to understand is this. Your concern about size does not mean you are superficial. It means you are human. Men receive mensajes about size desde muy jóvenes. Jokes, comments, exaggerations in media, images that show only one type of body and present it as the default. Very few people sit down with a young man and explain calmly what is normal, what really matters for intimate health, or how confidence and presence weigh much more than any number. So, many men grow up with a silent equation in their heads: bigger equals better, smaller equals worse. That is not science, that is marketing and myth. Biologically, human bodies come in a wide range of sizes and shapes, and most of them are perfectly compatible with satisfying intimacy. The variation is real, but the extremes are much rarer than people imagine. Most people fall into a middle zone that is completely functional. What often creates dissatisfaction is not the anatomy itself, but the comparison. Comparing yourself with edited images, with stories told like legends, or with an imaginary average that does not exist in real life. When you ask your partner about size, many times you are not really asking about her experience. You are asking if you match this imaginary standard. Now I want to show you something important about the brain. Your nervous system loves clear commands. When you repeat to yourself, size is everything, or if I am not big enough, I am a failure, your mind starts to scan every experience to confirm that belief. This is what psychologists call a confirmation bias. You will remember every joke, every comment, every awkward moment, and you will ignore all the evidence that contradicts the fear. You will forget the times when intimacy was warm, affectionate, and mutually satisfying, and you will obsess over one look, one phrase taken out of context. What does this have to do with the question you ask out loud? A lot. Because when you say, "Be honest, is it enough?" you are inviting your partner into your anxiety loop. You are asking her to become the judge of a fear created by culture, not by her actual experience. Even if she answers in the most loving way, a part of you might doubt it. You might think, "She is just being kind," or "She doesn't want to hurt me." The reassurance does not stick, because the belief underneath has not been examined. So, what can you do instead? The first change is internal, and the second is verbal. Internally, you replace the question, "Am I big enough?" with a very different question. How can I be more present, more attentive, and more connected in this moment? That may sound simple, but it changes everything. Size is fixed. Presence is active. One keeps you in fear of measurement. The other puts you in a position of agency and responsibility. When you focus on presence, your nervous system begins to calm down. You pay attention to breathing, to eye contact, to the emotional climate, to the rhythm of the interaction. You stop looking at yourself dazed de fuera, and you start inhabiting your own body. Instead of scanning for defects, you start scanning for signals. Is my partner relaxed? Is she breathing deeply? Are her shoulders soft? Is there laughter, playfulness, curiosity? These are real indicators of well-being and connection, much more relevant for intimate health than any number. And you access them not with self-attacking questions, but with calm curiosity. Now hablemos de la parte verbal, what you actually say. The size question is focused only on you. Am I enough? A healthier question is focused on both. How can this feel good for us? Or, what helps you feel comfortable and relaxed with me? These questions do something very different. They open a conversation about experience, not measurement. They invite your partner to talk about pace, atmosphere, emotional needs, kinds of touch that feel safe and pleasant, ways of communicating during intimacy. You are no longer asking her to rate your body. You are inviting her to co-create an experience. For example, instead of asking, "Does size matter to you?" you might say in a calm, everyday moment, not in the middle of intimacy, "I want our closeness to feel really good and relaxed for both of us. If there is anything that helps you feel more comfortable, I want you to tell me." Or, sometimes men get worried about all kinds of expectations around intimacy. I prefer that we talk openly and adjust together. What helps you feel connected and safe? Notice how different that feels. You are showing mature vulnerability, you are being honest about cultural pressure, but you are not asking her to evaluate you like a product. You are inviting collaboration. Another phrase that helps is, "Let me know what feels good for you and what doesn't. I want us to enjoy this, not to perform." This moves the focus away from body comparison and toward awareness. It signals that you are willing to listen, to adapt, to receive feedback without collapsing. That is deeply attractive. Many partners value this kind of emotional intelligence much more than any physical measurement, because it creates a sense of being seen and respected. You might be thinking, "Okay, Susan, but what if size really is an issue? What if I am below average?" The first thing I will tell you, with years of clinical experience, is that the majority of men who are convinced they are too small are in fact within the normal range. They are not seeing reality. They are seeing a distorted mirror built from jokes, comments, and unrealistic images. But even for men at the lower end of the normal range, intimate satisfaction is not determined by numbers alone. There are many dimensions of intimacy: emotional safety, communication, rhythm, creativity, kindness, curiosity, consistency. If you reduce all of that to one measurement, you are disrespecting your own complexity and the complexity of your partner. There is also another important element. Intimate health is not only about structure, it is about function. Circulation, hormone balance, muscle tone in the pelvic area, overall cardiovascular health, the level of stress in your nervous system, all of these influence how your body responds. Two men with the same size can have very different experiences of confidence, depending on whether they take care of their sleep, their nutrition, their physical activity, and their mental health. When you ask the size question again and again, you are ignoring all these variables that actually respond to your daily choices. Let's go one level deeper and talk about midlife and beyond. As men age, it is normal for circulation to change, for recovery times to lengthen, for energy to fluctuate. This is not failure, it is physiology. But if you interpret every fluctuation as proof that you are not enough, your stress level will rise, and that makes the physical response even more fragile. On the other hand, if you treat these changes as signals to support your body with healthier habits, you can maintain an excellent level of vitality in the madurez. Regular movement that gets your heart pumping, like walking briskly, cycling, swimming, or light strength training, supports circulation. A balanced way of eating rich in vegetables, healthy fats, and lean protein supports your blood vessels and your hormone balance. Good sleep restores your nervous system. All these are habits naturals that quietly improve your intimate health without ever mentioning size. Now, I want to address another scenario that many men do not talk about. What if your partner, in the past, made a hurtful comment about size, even as a joke? Words said in a moment of anger or confusion can stay stuck in your memory for years. If that is your case, the first step is to recognize the wound. It is valid to feel hurt, disappointed, or even betrayed. But your value is not defined by one clumsy comment. You have the right to set boundaries around this. You can say, in a calm moment, "There is something I need you to know." Comments about my body, especially about size, really affect my confidence. I am working on my intimate health, and I want our relationship to be a place of support, not comparison. I ask you to avoid jokes or remarks about that. If your partner cares about you, they will listen. If they dismiss it completely, that is not about your body. It is about their level of empathy. Sometimes the hardest voice is not your partner's, but your own. The things you say to yourself in the mirror can be more cruel than anything anyone else has ever said. Part of changing the question is changing this inner dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking, "I am not enough because of my size," pause and replace it with a more accurate sentence. "My body is one part of who I am, and I can take care of it with respect. My worth is not measured in centimeters or inches." This is not empty affirmation. It is a correction of a false belief. Repetition matters. The more you repeat it, the more your brain begins to accept it as a new default. I also want to touch on the role of comparison with images. Many men consume visual content that presents bodies selected specifically for size, performance, and visual impact. These images are designed to shock and impress, not to represent reality. When you measure yourself against that, you are comparing your everyday life with a highlight reel that was chosen precisely because it is unusual. It is like judging your height by comparing yourself only with professional basketball players. If you want a healthier reference, look around at real men in real settings. The range is much broader and much more normal than the fantasy selection in media. Now let's return to what you can say instead of the size question in practical terms. There are 3 key shifts, from measurement to experience, from fear to curiosity, and from performance to connection. Instead of saying, "Am I big enough?" you say to yourself, "Right now my job is to be present and kind, not to pass an exam." Instead of asking your partner, "Does size matter?" you ask, "Are you comfortable?" Or, "Do you feel safe and relaxed with me?" Instead of trying to prove something, you show that you can listen and adapt. You might say, "If at any moment something feels off, tell me. I want to take care of our well-being together." That is a sign of mature masculinity, not weakness. When you talk about intimacy outside of the bedroom, you can gently bring up the topic of cultural pressure. For example, I think men receive a lot of strange messages about intimacy and size. I prefer that we focus on how we treat each other and how we communicate. That matters more to me than any number. This kind of conversation creates a shared agreement. It gives your partner permission to value connection over comparison, and it frees both of you from silent expectations. Some men worry that if they stop asking about size, they will never know the truth. But the truth that matters is not a numeric rating. It is how your partner feels in the relationship and in moments of closeness. Do they feel respected? Do they feel free to say yes and no? Do they feel seen as a whole person? That truth comes out in their body language, in their willingness to be close, in the way they talk to you, in the level of trust you build over time. If your partner is affectionate, relaxed, and engaged with you, that is the feedback you need. Chasing a sentence like, "Yes, you are the biggest," will not give you more real security. It will just keep you dependent on external approval. There is also a very practical reason to avoid the size question. When you ask for reassurance in that way, you teach your partner that she must constantly protect you from insecurity. Over time, that can feel heavy. She may start to censor herself, to avoid bringing up any topic related to intimacy, because she is afraid it will trigger anxiety or self-criticism in you. The relationship starts to revolve around calming your fears instead of exploring what works for both. By changing the question to, "What helps us feel connected?" you show that you are willing to carry your part of the emotional weight, that you do not need to be rescued, only accompanied. I also want you to know that seeking help is a sign of strength, not of failure. If body image or intimate anxiety have been with you for a long time, talking with a mental health professional can be extremely liberating. Therapists who understand male well-being and intimate health can help you unpack the origins of these fears and build a more realistic, compassionate view of your body. In some cases, a medical evaluation is also useful to check circulation, hormone levels, or other factors that can influence intimate function. This is part of caring for your longevity and your quality of life, igual que cuidar tu corazón o tu presión arterial. Now, let's put everything together in a simple mental script that you can carry with you. The next time you feel the impulse to ask, "Am I big enough?" you pause. You breathe. Inside your mind, you say, "That question does not serve me. It keeps me trapped in comparison. I choose a different focus." Then you ask yourself, "How can I be present, kind, and attentive right now?" You look at your partner, you observe their comfort, you listen. If you want to say something out loud, you choose a phrase that invites connection. "I like being close to you." If there is anything that helps you feel even better, tell me. Or, "Your comfort matters to me. I want this to feel good and relaxed for both of us." You have just replaced a fear-based question with a confident, caring statement. As you practice this new way of thinking and speaking, something quiet but powerful begins to change. You stop looking at your body from the outside as an object to be judged, and you start living inside it as a home to be respected. You treat your intimate health as part of your overall well-being, not as a separate, shameful chapter. You support your circulation with healthy movement, your vitality in the madurez with better sleep and nutrition, your confidence in the relationship with clearer communication. Size stops being the central drama and becomes just one neutral detail in a much richer picture. If you are listening to this and you feel a mix of relief and resistance, that is normal. Many men have carried the size question for decades, like a secret weight. Letting go of it can feel strange al principio, como si estuvieras renunciando a una parte de tu identidad. But you are not losing anything real. You are letting go of an illusion. You are exchanging a narrow, harsh standard for a broader, more humane understanding of what makes you a good partner and a healthy man. I want to leave you with one simple sentence that can travel with you long after this video ends. Your value as a man is not measured in centimeters, inches, or any tape. It is measured in the quality of your presence, your kindness, and your courage to take care of your well-being and your relationships. When you stop asking the question about size, you create space for a much better question. How can I grow in the way I love, listen, and show up? That is the kind of growth that never stops, at any age. If this message resonated with you, take it as an invitation, not as a verdict. You do not need to fix everything today. You can start with one small change. Replace the size question with a sentence of connection the next time you feel vulnerable. Observe how your body responds when you focus less on measurement and more on breathing, on warmth, on trust. And if you know another man who carries silent worries about his body, share this with him. Sometimes a new idea, escuchada en el momento justo, can unlock years of tension. Thank you for being here, for daring to listen to a different story about masculinity, intimate health, and well-being. Take care of your circulation, your sleep, your movement, your mind, and your relationships. Those are the true foundations of confidence. And remember, never ask the question about size. Ask instead how you can be more present, more respectful, and more connected. That is where real strength lives.